Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things could get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming my second Mousketeer from the classic lineup of the Mickey Mouse Club, Sherry Alberoni Van Meter. She is coming on the show today to talk about her days at the Mickey Mouse Club, and I'm going to ask her about she had an amazing career after that show. She was on the Tom Ewell Show. She guest starred on many classic shows like The Many Lives of Dobie Gillis and Bronco, The Real McCoys. She was in the sci-fi low-budget movie Cyborg 2087. She was in the very underrated horror classic Terror Circus, or Nightmare Circus, as it's known in some circles. And she's one of the voices of Josie and the Pussycats. And I can't wait to have her on. It's been a while coming now, and I'm just so lucky. I am just the happiest fanboy in the whole wide world, is what I am. So, here is my interview with Sherry Alberoni Van Meter.
Hello.
Hey, Sherry. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Tommy. How you doing?
I am wonderful. How are you doing?
Just fine, thank you.
Well, it's such a wonderful honor. Thank you for taking the time today, finally.
I know. It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for asking me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So going back in time, long before the Mickey Mouse Club, I was reading that you started modeling when you were only 2 years old, and then you began dancing.
Right. Yeah, I was 2, 3 years old in there, and I was also taking, my brother Roy and I were also taking dancing lessons because my mom loved to dance, and she wanted us to have that ability also. So it was just a little local dancing school, and I was around 8, I guess, when an agent came to the dancing school and thought my brother and I were cute little kids, and asked my mom if she wanted us to, do TV work and movies and stuff. And my mom, who was from Kentucky, I mean, she just, she thought this was, wow, she was just so thrilled and excited in Hollywood and all that. And so she said, sure. So they started sending my brother and I out on auditions. And we worked in a lot of different things. Me mainly as I was a little ballerina and a tap dancer and modeling. But my brother was a great drummer and tap dancer. And he had done a lot of shows like the Red Skelton Show and things like that. And he got the agent called and said, hey, I've got an audition for Roy at Disney Studios to be a Mousketeer. So the Mickey Mouse Club had just come on at that time. That was on October the 3rd. It had come on television, October 3rd, 1955. And we were major fans. It was like, oh, my gosh. So Roy, they said that I was too young, and they said they wanted to see Roy. So my mom took Roy there, and he played his drums, did his tap dance, and they said, Roy, you're great. We'd love to have you, but we already have a drummer who can tap dance, and that's Cubby. And my brother was sharp enough to say, well, if you can't use me, could you use my little sister? She can play the trumpet and do a tap dance at the same time.
Oh.
So Walt Disney, Walt Disney, and the director was Sid Miller, who had been in all of the Donald O'Connor, Debbie Reynolds movies, Judy Garland movies at that time. They just, thought that was great. They wanted to see me. So my mom took me the next day, and I almost knocked out all my teeth, but I did my little act, and I got the part. And that was it.
Wow. And so what was it like going to Disneyland on its opening day?
Oh, I was a little campfire girl, and I had sold more candy than any other little girl in the whole state of California. And so my prize for that was, I guess they were somehow connected with Carnation, and Carnation had the Carnation Corner at Disneyland, and my prize was to be at Disneyland on opening day with my family and to make a ice cream sundae for Walt Disney. And so we got there, and they took me in there, and they put me up on an apple box because I was so tiny, and they couldn't see, the photographers couldn't see me, over the soda fountain.
Yeah.
And there's just dozens and dozens of photographers in there, and it was such a miserably hot day. I mean, I'm sure you've heard the stories about the sidewalk, the tar melting, and women's shoes getting caught, their heels getting caught in the ground and stuff. It was just terrible. But so I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, guess who walks in? Walt Disney. And he comes behind the soda fountain with me, and I'm on the left, he's on the right, and we're both holding this ice cream sundae. And the photographers are yelling, "Over here, Walt, Sherry, look over here, smile, look over here." And I look out of the corner of my eye, I look to my right, and the ice cream sundae is melting all over Walt's beautiful gray silk suit. Mm-hmm. So that was my first encounter with Mr. Disney, and later on, after I got the part, I told him about it, and we had a good laugh about that. Reminded him of it. He said, "Oh, I remember that."
Yeah.
He was such a great guy, such a nice man to all of us kids, and protected us, which was wonderful.
Yeah, I first went to Disneyland in 1990. It was 35 years old by that point, and it still had that old time feel of what it was, when you were there in 1955. Right. I haven't been back since like 91 or so, and from what I've heard, it's just not the same anymore.
Well, everything changes, and we look at things through older, more mature eyes. I was just there the other day with my family, and I see the changes, of course, but it's still magical, and that's what Walt wanted. He wanted it to be magical for children of all ages, as he said, for grandparents, for parents, for the kids, and it's still wonderful. We love it.
Yeah, someday I'll go back again, but yeah, I love the way it used to be. So
I know.
You came on the Mickey Mouse Club in the second season. Were you already watching the show?
Oh, sure. My brother Roy and I would sit there in front of the television with our little, plastic ears on, and just say, "Oh, Mommy, I want to be a Mousketeer," and look at that. Oh, we loved it. We were major fans.
Yeah.
Getting to go there was just a thrill of a lifetime for us.
Yeah, because you
and it still is.
Yeah. Could you just not believe that you were on the show like a year later?
Yeah, but you know what? It's funny because I had worked, as I said, so much before that it was really neat, and being with all the kids, and I always loved costume departments, and going into makeup and hairdressing and singing and dancing with a bunch of kids who became my closest friends because we all went to school together and traveled together. It was, on the other hand, it was just another gig for me, and I don't mean to belittle it in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it was just the greatest. But I had worked so much that it was another studio, it was another show. And now when I look back with adult eyes, I go, wow, it was not just another studio. It was not just another gig. It wasn't. It was so special. Like I said, they were very protective of us. If someone on the crew said anything, that they cursed or something, they were gone the next day.
Wow.
And Walt was exceptionally protective of us and good to us, and we had wonderful, wonderful teaching. We could only be at the studio for 8 hours a day, and within that 8 hours, we had to do 3 hours of schooling, 1 hour for lunch and recreation, and then 4 hours in front of the camera or in wardrobe and hairdressing, makeup, rehearsing, anything like that. And we had to get in our school in increments of at least 20 minutes. We couldn't just run in, take the 5 minutes and then be in class and then run out again. we had to do it in 20-minute increments. And we had teachers who were right there watching and with their stopwatches, looking. And if we were not getting all of our schoolwork in, they would say, okay, I need her, I need him. They, no more until they finish they have 1 more hour of schooling.
Mm-hmm.
So they were very protective of us, and it was great.
Yeah, that is great. The agent had recommended that you change your name to Sherry Allen. Why is that?
Well, back in those days, there was the mindset that, with an Italian name, that I could be typecast. They would think that because casting directors, let me explain this, casting directors would call up the agent and say, okay, I need a little blonde girl who's 4'4", who talks to the list, who has blonde hair and snap. And the agent would say, okay, I will send you Sherry Alberoni and Susie Q. And then the casting director would say, whoa, no, I don't want someone who looks Italian. So they would think that I, or any other kids, if we had an ethnic name, that we would look like whatever our country our name was from. And which wasn't, how it was. I mean, it was a neck and a cello, but we all went by our first name. So I didn't have the problem with Disney. But my agent just was afraid I would be typecast, and so wanted to change it to Sherry Allen. So we did that just for a very short time, and what happened was Lou Costello from the unbelievable twosome of the Abbott and Costello, he was getting ready to film his last movie with Bud Abbott, and it was a movie called Dance with Me, Henry, and it took place in a kids' like a playground, kind of like a Disneyland, like a park.
Mm-hmm.
And so Lou Costello was Sicilian. My father was Sicilian. His wife, Anne, was Irish. My mother was Irish. So they became friends. I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. What had happened was that Lou's daughter, Chris, she used to watch the Mickey Mouse Club. And she knew her daddy was looking for a little girl. And she said, there, Daddy, there, that's the one I like, right there, staring. And for some reason, she liked my list or something. And it turned out that he bought my contract from Disney. And that's how I left the show after a year and went to work at Hal Roach Studios in Culver City. Gosh, I remember that. Went to work for Abbott and Costello. And it was a 6-week shoot, and it was so much fun because there were a bunch of little kids. We were orphan kids, and there were a bunch of little kids from the orphanage that were my little friends. And so it was fun. It was exciting, and he was such a pleasure. And I remember he said, I knew he was very impressed with the fact that I could remember my lines, and he would get Bud. He'd say, I bet she remembers not only her lines, I bet she remembers my lines and your lines. And so Bud would say, no, and he'd take the bet. And we would win a lot of money on that because I always knew everybody's lines. Now I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but back then, I could remember. And they were just a lot of fun. Such great guys.
Yeah. How was the pay on the Mickey Mouse Club?
Mickey Mouse Club, somebody said we got $150 a week. My mom, I thought, said we got, I got 180, so I'm not sure. Back then, that was a lot of money. And I was making, at those prices, I was making more money than my dad was. But, now, of course, that's not a lot of money. But, it was pretty darn good for being a kid.
Yeah.
And all of our money went into accounts that were regulated by the state of California, and we couldn't touch our money until we were 21.
Huh. Was Coogan's Law passed by that point?
Yeah, it had been.
Yeah.
That I think was in the 30s or 40s or something.
Yeah. Thank God for that too. And of course, we all know what happened to Macaulay Culkin and what he went through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's sad, but it all, people stack me up and they say how Hollywood is the root of all evil and it's so horrible and it messes up these kids. No. It's not Hollywood. It's family.
Yeah.
And if you've got a family that you are not the breadwinner for, and now we're talking about millions of dollars to some of these kids, and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that can be pretty tough. But I came from a very, very tight, loving family. And I remember my mom when I was just a little kid. My mom would say to me, I'd go on an audition, and there would be maybe 100 little girls standing in line, and the director would come by and say, okay, you, and you, say the other say so. And, that can be kind of, daunting on a little kid, I didn't get chosen. But my mom would say, honey, if you get this job, it's not because you're cuter or smarter or more talented than the other little girls. It's just because God wants you to get this job. And she said, and on the other hand, if you don't get the job, it's not because you're not as cute or talented or smart. So, your family can set you on the right track or not. And it's all them. It really is.
Yeah.
They put the values in you, and to not go thinking, oh, wow, I'm special because, I'm doing this. My mom would say, you're the same as if you're a babysitter. And one time when I was 16, I guess I smart-mouthed my mom, and I stood there while she called our agent, and she said, Helen Sherry is not going to be any more auditions and no more work until she learns she learns to watch her mouth, she said. So my mom was very, very good Midwestern, attitude and morals and values. So I was very blessed in that way, and a lot of the kids aren't.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. I was talking to someone earlier about that, about how, a lot of child actors, they grow up believing in their own publicity, and they just believe that they're the best, and that they can't do any wrong. It's just a really sad society we live in with that,
It is. It's very, very sad. But I always, the kids with the drugs and the alcohol and everything, I was look back and I say, what, those guys at Columbine, they weren't, in Hollywood. So there was messed up kids all over the place because of society and parents that are too busy going to the tennis club to, rather than taking care of their kids.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my soapbox for the day.
Yeah. Did you remain friends with Annette afterwards?
Yes, I sure did. I was only 8, and Annette was 12 at the time, but the Italian connection, and my mom didn't drive, and so my dad would drive us up Sepulveda Boulevard, drive my mom and I to Annette's house. She lived in Encino, and we lived in Westchester, which was right by the L.A. airport, and he'd drop my mom and I off at Annette's house, and then Annette's mom would drive us down Ventura Boulevard to Burbank to the studio. So we became friends. I was her little sister. And then, as she got older, the teenager and all, the split of, what she was allowed to do, what I was allowed to do, was two different things.
Yeah.
But now I still do shows with Cubby and Bobby and Tommy and Sharon, and they're just, one of my daughters got married in Italy at the Vatican, and they all came to the wedding, and, Cheryl, before she passed away, friends with Doreen. They're just, and it's amazing because they're lifelong friends, literally. And we all still have the same, thoughts and ideas, and we've done shows, so many shows at Disneyland or Disney World whenever they want somebody who knew Walt. That's always the big selling point. But we'll do TV and newspaper and radio and openings, autograph sessions. We just did a ribbon cutting for the Wonderful World of Disney shop at Disneyland on downtown Disney Street. So we're all good friends, and we miss Annette and Doreen and Cheryl, our good buddies. That we had wonderful times together.
Yeah, I interviewed Sharon. She's a sweetheart, and
Oh, I love Sharon. I just talked to her the other day, and Sharon is one of the great all-time people.
she is.
Just a wonderful person.
She is. I wish I could have met Annette, though. I've heard so many good things about her.
Yeah, she's a good person, and just as pretty on the inside as she was on the outside.
Absolutely. Now, it's well known that many Mousketeers had crushes on each other, but who did you particularly have a crush on?
Cubby. Oh, yeah. To this day. So Cubby and I used to date. We had a nightclub act when we were 18, 19 years old. And he's a drummer. He's Bernadette Peters' drummer.
Oh.
And currently, yeah, he's a great guy. You should talk with Cubby because he's a lot of fun. And I was trying to knit him a sweater, and I don't think I ever finished it. But Cubby and I have done cruise shows together on the Disney Cruise Line, and his wife is one of my dear, dear, dear friends. And he's a wonderful, wonderful person. So, Cubby, definitely.
Yeah, if I can find him, I'll definitely talk to him.
Okay.
Can you guess who my crush was when I was a kid of the Mousketeers?
I would say, well, other than Annette, I would say maybe Darlene.
Yes, you are right.
Really?
Yes.
Darlene has such a great personality. And everybody on the show, even and including Annette, would always say that Annette would say, I wasn't the prettiest, I wasn't the most talented. The prettiest was Cheryl, and the most talented was Darlene. Mm-hmm. But I was different looking, and she was exotic looking. But Darlene, what a talent! Oh gosh, I remember one show we did with. She did Marilyn Monroe. She was an impersonator, and she did Marilyn Monroe. She did Jimmy Durante. I mean, she was such a talented girl with just beautiful, beautiful voice. A great comedian, and she still is.
Yeah. I have a soft spot in my heart for Canadians. I've interviewed a lot of Canadians, and they are the most open-minded, most fun people. And I think that's, in hindsight, that's why I liked Darlene.
Okay, yeah, that could do it. Yeah, Canada is just what a great place. We've done the cruise ships out of there, and with my family, and then with Cubby, and just love it. It's a beautiful country. Mm-hmm.
I'll go there someday. But you decided to stay in the business, and you had a nice long career. Let's get into the guest starring rules first. Mm-hmm. You were on an episode of the Western show Bronco.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I've got that as Cyan buckskin, and that was in 1958. And the only reason I know that is because I have that script right here on my shelf in front of me.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Yeah, I was working with.
I must have been like 12.
Yeah.
I was probably 12, and I played it was called The Silent Witness, and I played a mute little girl who saw some cowboy kill another cowboy, and they wanted me to testify, type of thing. Yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah, how was Ty Hardin?
Talk about crushes. He was beautiful. He was very, very nice guy. I was really lucky because everybody I worked with was really nice. And, Lee Ellis, and Dwayne Hickman, and Ed Wynn, Kerwin Matthews, and The Three Worlds of Gulliver. All these different shows. I always worked with really nice people.
Yeah, I interviewed an actress who worked with Ty Hardin in a movie in the 80s, and there was this scene they did where he forgot his line and said something really inappropriate, and the entire cast and crew laughed. They had tears rolling down their eyes laughing.
Oh, gosh. Well, maybe he was a little more careful because I was a kid.
Well, he had to be in those days.
Yeah, right.
On a TV show, especially.
Right.
You were on the Donna Reed Show. Any good memories of that?
Yeah, I was at Columbia for 7 years after Dance with Me, Henry, and that was fun because my slot, my stage was right next door to where they filmed the Donna Reed Show, and we shared the same teachers a lot of times, and that was great fun. Columbia was a wonderful studio to work at, and Donna Reed was just as beautiful. She looked on TV, and Paul and Shelley, who remained friends all these years.
Wow. Were you at Columbia after Harry Cohn passed?
No, before he did.
Oh, I've heard a lot of stories about him.
Yeah. But I was back in the golden days, and I'm just glad my mom was there with me.
Yeah. I met Paul Peterson about 30 years ago. He was doing back then, Nick at Night was doing this autograph signing tour, and they came to our local shopping mall, and he was a very nice guy. Me and my mother got autographs, which unfortunately we don't have anymore. I think my dad accidentally threw them out or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul's a nice guy, very nice guy, still is.
What wasn't he a Mousketeer?
He was for about 2 weeks.
Oh.
He was a rambunctious little kid, and the story goes that Paul and Nicky and Timmy Rooney Jr., Nicky Rooney Jr. and Timmy, I should say, that they went down to the paint department at an animation studio, and were big no-no, and mixed paint colors and stuff together, and so they all were asked not to come back.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny because Lou Costello had said, he said, that he knew that I would be good because I was raised by Walt Disney, and he knew I'd be a professional. He knew that I would know my lines and know where my key light was and hit my marks and all of that. And I was blessed to learn at a real young age that just because I, as a child, think something is funny or mess around, men and women in the crew, time is money. And, they want to finish up the shoot, finish up the day, and get home to their families. And so you learn to really respect the other people that you're working with. And some of the kids didn't learn that. And, that was a shame.
Yeah, but they were young, too,
Yeah, they were just little kids.
You did 2 episodes of The Real McCoys?
I did. That was fun. And also The Farmer's Daughter. Remember that show?
No. The Farmer's Daughter?
Oh, that was a fun one. Yeah, the Real McCoys, and that was 1960, it says on the script here. That was another fun show. I was blessed to do a lot of those iconic, television sitcoms back then.
Yeah, you got a good story about Walter Brennan?
Not really. I don't know if I remember meeting him, but I don't remember if I had any scenes with him or not. But there again, nice guy. Yeah, I wish I had dirt on some of these people, but I don't. I mean, they were all just, a pleasure to be with. So I'm kind of boring in that respect.
That's okay. I'm the one with the stories.
Yeah, I was on The Man from Uncle too, and that was great fun. I love that. I love being on there. And the Monkees, that was another good one.
Yes, I remember when you were on the Monkees.
Yeah, with the Monkees, and then later, because of my height, and we worked so well together, I played Davy Jones's wife on Make Room for Granddaddy or Make Room for Daddy. I don't remember, one of those.
Yeah.
And that was great fun. Monkees, they were crazy. That was one of the most fun sets with, you talk about messing around. And I think, they didn't stop it because I think that they wanted the spontaneity and the hilarity of these poor young kids. They didn't want to stifle it.
Yeah.
They were great fun.
Yeah, the Monkees was one of my first concerts when I was 14. My dad took me and my uncle. It was my uncle's birthday at the time, and my birthday had been a couple weeks before. We went to Candlestick Park in San Francisco to see them perform before a Giants game, and it was only the three of them. Yeah, it was only the three of them, no Michael Nesmith, and it was a great show. And at the end, they got into this Cadillac car with the top down, and then they rode off the stage.
Oh, how fun! Yeah, they were characters in the best sense of the word. You know, they were just great characters and fun-loving, nice kids.
Yeah, and yeah, you were a regular on the Tom Ewell Show.
I was. I played Tom Ewell's daughter on that show. And that was I was 4-star. And the cool thing about that was that I met on the lot Steve McQueen, and because he was filming Wanted Dead or Alive at the time.
Yeah.
And he was, my mom we'd drive into the studio, and he would get me on the back of his motorcycle, and I was, just a kid. That was in the very early 60s, like 59 to 61, I think. And I got the back of his motorcycle, and he rides me on the back over to the makeup department. And he was, I look back now, and I'm like, oh, Steve McQueen. Oh, talk about crush. He was just absolutely beautiful and nice and friendly. And then they got him to stop riding, or the insurance company got him to stop riding the motorcycle. They didn't want him riding it when he became such a big star,
Yeah. Yeah, Tom Ewell, he must have been great to work with.
He was. And he was, I look back, he had worked with Marilyn Monroe and
Jane Mansfield.
Yeah, talk about a character. He was very, very funny on and off the set. He was a lot of fun. I played his daughter. I can't remember what the name.
Debbie.
Her name was.
Debbie.
Was it? Oh, thank you. Good.
Yes. Mabel Albertson was on the show, too. She was Jack Albertson's sister. Yeah.
Yes. And Marilyn Erskine played the mother, Mabel's daughter, and Cindy Robbins, myself, and Eileen Chesses were the three daughters.
Was that a Columbia show?
Yeah, that was that was a 4-star.
Oh, okay.
4-star out in the valley.
Did you have a tiny role in Mr. Hobbs Takes a Vacation?
I did with Jimmy Stewart, and I met him again in Vietnam. He and his wife used to go to Vietnam during the war to quietly, with no fanfare, no publicity, to visit the troops. And I was there. I did the Bob Hope show there, and I went with Johnny Grant, and then I took my own show to Vietnam. I was in 68 and 69. But then that's when I saw Jimmy Stewart again. And, I look back on some of these people and I say, wow, what a blessing, what a thrill, what an honor to have met these wonderful performers. And like I was saying, those are the golden days. Those are the golden years of when the big stars had a very different attitude.
Yeah, I know. Back then, you could approach a movie star for an autograph, and everything was okay. But now there's entourage. There's a lot of rude attitudes. It's just it's terrible the way it is now.
Yeah, I was going to say that. But back then, you'd wave at them, and then my mom and I on Hollywood Boulevard were just walking down the street one day, and Jerry Colonna was a great comedian. He was driving down in a convertible. He was convertible, people yelling, and my mom and I yelled, Jerry, and he blew us a kiss, and just great attitude, good, nice people. They enjoyed their success and their hard work and their stardom. They enjoyed it, and they gave it back to their fans.
Mm-hmm. I know it's a great. A lot of those people too. They had old-fashioned Midwest values.
Yeah, they sure did. They're very different. They were never taught to believe that they were gods and goddesses.
Mm-hmm. Then you entered the world of sci-fi with Cyborg 2087.
That was so terrible. God. a funny one. The one I liked better than that, though, was the Three Worlds of Gulliver.
Oh, yeah.
Herman Matthews. Yeah, that was a Columbia film. When my mom and I got to go to Europe for 6 months to film that.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
What was Kerwin Matthews like?
The first time I met him, he was laying on the beach on Costa del Sol in Barcelona, and my mom and I were looking up across the sand, and he's laying there. It was a scene where his hair was tied down by the Lilliputians.
Mm-hmm.
And so he really was. He had those stakes in his hair, and he was tied down in the sand. And we stayed friends all the years until he passed away, which was maybe 10 years ago. And we'd like Christmas cards to each other and talk on the phone. And he was just the sweetest, nicest, wonderful down. God, like I said, I'm getting boring. The most down-to-earth man. Just wonderful.
And you know what, too? He was a pretty good actor for a guy who was playing, heroes like, Sinbad and all that. He was a pretty good actor.
Sinbad the Sailor. He was a good actor, yeah.
Yeah, he did that movie with Frank Sinatra and Spencer Tracy, Devil at 4 O'Clock. Was
he in that? I don't know why I didn't know that.
Yeah, he plays a priest in that, and he does a really good job of playing a priest.
Huh. Well, speaking of Frank Sinatra, you want me to tell you about my 21st birthday?
Okay.
Okay. There's a segue there. I was in Las Vegas with my mother and my father on my 21st birthday. And we were at the Sands Hotel. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting in the very front row. I had my elbow on the stage. And my dad said to Frank and Dean in Italian that this is, I'm his daughter, and that it's my 21st birthday. Well, they got me up on the stage, started talking to me, and bought me, said, saying happy birthday to me. Those was Julie Bishop, Peter Lawford, Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra, and Dean Martin. And they sang happy birthday to me, and then he yelled to the maid, hey, whatever she's drinking, keep them coming. Well, I was drinking slow gin fizz. Only probably because it was a pretty color. It was a pretty pink, and it matched my dress or something. I don't know. And I wound up that night in the Sunrise Memorial Hospital having to have my stomach pumped. But it was the greatest night of my life. You're kidding to meet those guys and be up on stage with them.
Wow. So you had to have your stomach pumped?
Yeah, too much of that slow gin.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who had their stomach pumped.
Not something you want to do. And alcohol poisoning.
Yeah. Ooh, that's terrible. How was working on Family Affair?
Family Affair with my friend Kathy Garver. That was a great time again. It was everybody, that was a happy, fun show. And I used to date the son of Don Pedersen, who was the producer of that show. And so we were all, and they filmed at the same place that they filmed My Three Sons, which was another show that I worked a lot on. And Don, who played Skip, Don Grady, he was a Mousketeer also. But Family Affair was another happy set, happy, fun time. Brian Keith was a doll. Sebastian Cabot was very nice, and he was always humped. He was reputed.
Yeah, Brian Keith. What a tragic end to his life, huh?
Yeah, nice guy, very nice.
Yeah, he was very versatile too.
Mm-hmm.
How did you transition into voiceover work with Josie and the Pussycats?
Well, I was, what was the year of that? I
think 71 or something.
Maybe a little bit later. I got married in 71, so I think it was, anyway, I was pregnant with our first daughter, and my husband was in medical school, and so he couldn't, work, and so I had to work. But I was being pregnant, I couldn't do on camera, so I started doing voiceovers. And my oldest daughter is named Casey, after my dear friend Casey Policeman.
Oh.
We lived together for 6 years on a regular basis on different shows. Super Friends and Josie and the Pussycats, and then Josie and the Pussycats in Outer Space, and the Partridge Family, and all these different shows. And I say we would have so much fun because everybody from Shannon Farnan, who played Wonder Woman, and Olin Soule, who was Batman, and Danny Dark, who was the voice of NBC for so long. Danny Dark was Superman. So everybody were seasoned professionals. So we would go in, we'd do a quick read through, then we'd record it, and it was quick and it was easy, and everybody was very, very good friends. And one of my favorite humans on earth was a guy I went to college with named Frank Welker.
Oh, yeah.
Frank, you know Frank Welker? He was the voice of E.T. and a million other things.
Gremlins, yeah.
Oh, Frank was just an incredible talent. He would make everyone laugh so hard. Sometimes they'd have to cut the tape and, all right, kids, calm down. Because they're laughing so hard at Frank. He would do 50 singing ducks. Mm-hmm. And he'd say, not 48, not 112, but 50. And he would do this singing like ducks, and you'd swear that it was 50 ducks. And he was very, very talented.
Yeah. Wow, yeah.
It was good fun.
Yeah, Josie and the Pussycats holds up all these years. It's just as popular as Scooby-Doo was.
Yeah, it was a good show. And, when my daughters, when they were in college, they'd say, well, my mom was a Mousketeer. And their friends would say, what's that? And when she would say, well, she was Alexandra on Josie and the Pussycats, their friends would get so excited about it because they knew, of course, the show, and they loved it. It was a great show. Janet Waldo, whose husband wrote Auntie Mame, mm-hmm. and Jackie Joseph.
I love Jackie. I love Jackie. I've interviewed her twice.
Oh, Jackie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's great. Fun. Oh, God, she's fun.
Yeah.
Great laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a fun time with those gals, and we had a good time together.
And also, Cheryl Ladd was in there, too.
No, she never worked with us. It was her singing, her recording of that song.
Oh.
A girl's band, I guess. But she never worked with us.
Oh.
Yeah, I know a lot of people thought that she did. No, she didn't.
And then you did Super Friends.
Uh-huh. That was a great one. That was fun.
Yeah. Who'd you do the voice of?
I did the Super Twins. That was Frank Welker and I were the Super Friends, Wendy and Marvin.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. You know Frank Welker so well. I think he's just he's one of the great voiceover guys.
And one of the great guys too. I mean, just a nice, funny, down-to-earth person.
Yeah, I can watch anything, and I know it's his voice, especially when he does, like, Dr. Claw and Inspector Gadget or Soundwave and Transformers. Like, I always know that's him. I'm like, that's Frank Welker.
Yeah. He's very low-key. He's not, he wasn't a big, here I am, folks, type of guy. He was always very low-key.
Yeah, not a Hollywood guy.
No, not at all. Not at all. We went to Santa Monica City College together. We met in the theater arts department. And then we did a Toyota commercial.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, filmed it down San Diego.
Did you do a lot of commercials?
I did. Carnation Instant Breakfast and Kodak cameras. They've been out of business forever.
Yeah. Even
Chesterfield cigarettes.
Ooh.
I was a little kid, yeah. That was before they banned kids being, they banned the commercials, and then before that they banned kids being in the commercials. What else? Just lots of commercials and movies and stage shows. I did Victory Canteen, which was written by the Sherman Brothers of Disney fame, starring Patty Andrews and the Andrews sisters.
Mm-hmm. How about...
And, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, how about working on Terror Circus?
that goes back to the days that my husband was in medical school, and I was, I would take basically any show that came along because we needed the money to, for him to go to school. And that was, Paris Circus was Andy Prine. I did 2 of those. I did, it was...
Sisters of Death?
Sisters of Death.
Yeah.
Yes, Sisters of Death. It was Joey Cotta. Remember him? He was the soda fountain guy on Happy Days.
Oh, yes,
Joey
right.
Cotta. Yeah. And then the Terrace Circus with Andy Prine. And those were experiences. Say that. It was a paycheck. It was an experience. I mean, it was fun. We were on location, and which is always fun.
Yeah, that was during a strange time in horror because Night of the Living Dead had opened so many doors, and then next thing you know, everyone is trying to top it, and no one came close for a while. And this is one of those movies that came out right in the middle of all of that. Everyone was like imitating what they read in the news about serial killings and stuff. Everyone was doing a Charles Manson type of story, with hippies and a cult, And then The Exorcist and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre comes along and changes all of that.
Right. Adds a little class.
Yeah. And you got to work with Alan Rudolph before he became the critically...
Oh, yeah, before he became Alan Rudolph, yeah.
Before he became the critically acclaimed director, yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? He was the youngest director I ever worked with. I had never heard of him.
Yeah.
He had this long, below his shoulders, this long black hair. And I had never worked with a director that looked like that. And it was just very different. But when he opened his mouth, what a friendly guy and a knowledgeable guy. And we had another director, I think, before on that
Yes.
film. And I think I don't know why they got rid of him.
Yeah, they had another director, and then he came in and finished it.
Cleaned it all up.
Yeah. Wow. So why did Sisters of Death take so long to get released? Did they have distribution problems?
I'm sure they didn't have the money, to put it out. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Claudia Jennings, who was the star of it, she got killed in a car wreck.
Oh.
And I don't know what that was one of those where finish the job and then bye-bye.
Yeah. So did you leave showbiz to raise your family?
Well, I didn't really ever leave. I mean, why would anybody ever leave? I hated going on auditions and all of that. Mm-hmm. But different people would call me and offer me something, and okay, I'll do that. But then after the 25th anniversary of the Mickey Mouse Club, it really kind of came back into vogue, the Mickey Mouse Club, and all the baby boomers remembering and loving this iconic show. And we started really doing a lot of shows at Disneyland. We'll do them all summer long, every year on the space stage there in Tomorrowland. And we had 16 costume changes, and we did 13 musical numbers, singing and dancing, and we would do 6 shows a day. But that was great fun because my kids could come with me, my husband, my parents could come, sit in the audience and watch. So that really, took up a lot of time. And then we started doing Mickey's 60th birthday. Bobby Burgess, who went on to do the Lawrence Welk Show. Bobby and I went with Mickey to 60 cities. And then we did a world tour and went to Australia because the show was very big down in Australia. Went to Australia, New Zealand. And it was great because I've never known anything else. And show business is my life, my career. No, but that was the only thing I knew how to do and really wanted to do. So to just sit up and walk away, you do that. Hollywood walks away from you. You don't walk away from Hollywood.
Right.
And in the strict sense of that meaning. But so I've been very, very blessed because I've got now with these shows and the cruises and things with the Mousketeers, just enough for my ego, but not so much that it takes me away from my family, from my grandchildren, the most important thing in the world, from reality and my life. It doesn't take me away from any of that. And so it's just enough. I get just enough of, like I say, just enough for my ego.
That's wonderful, because you had an amazing long career before you took that long break and everything. I'm sure you have eclectic fans with all the things you did.
Well, it's really nice, and the Mousketeers, we all say, isn't it wonderful that people remember and that they care, and they want our picture, they want our autographs. We all still get fan mail, and it's just, wow, people take the time out of their lives and to remember. They remember us, and some will say, oh, my sister and I were twins, and my mom named her Sherry and me Karen, and it's very heartwarming. And we're never Miss Alberoni or Mrs. Van Meter. I'm Sherry. It's an icebreaker. We were in your living room. We grew up together, and everybody feels like they know us, and we feel like we know them because we were all kids together.
Yeah, that's so sweet. I see that most of your life you've done a lot of charity work. What kind of charities do you get involved in?
Well, I'm Catholic. My family, we're all Catholic, and my big charity is we're building an abbey in Silverado, California, which is down here in Orange County where we live. Mm-hmm. And we're building this abbey for these priests. Everybody says that there's a priest shortage, but there's no priest shortage at the abbey. They have so many priests and no room for them. They originally were started by 9 Hungarians who, in the 60s, when the communists went into Hungary and were arresting all of the religious, these guys literally did found the music, over the river and through the woods type of thing to escape Hungary and the communists. And they got here to America, and someone sponsored them to start a church, and they did. Well, the church was not earthquake. And there's been so much damage, the walls cracking and the ground cracking. So a bunch of us said, we've got to get together and let's, raise the money, and we're going to build a new abbey. And that's what we're doing. And we've been very fortunate. We've raised $130 million. And this is going to be it's the only abbey west of the Mississippi that's been built, forever. And so that's my big. So Catholic Charities and my local parish and the Lung Association, Hope Hospital, different things like that. But the one that's nearest and dearest to my heart is St. Michael's Abbey in Silverado. And if you go on their website, it's just a beautiful, amazing place. And we have just great priests.
Well, that's beautiful. That really is. I have a friend. He's a Christian. He goes on these missions to build homes in Chile, and
oh, nice.
Yeah, he loves it. He gets a satisfaction from being in a country like Chile that he doesn't get from being in America, in that he can help people, and he doesn't have people bossing him around in America.
Yeah, right. Well, another one is building homes in Appalachians and helping those poor people there. We've got so many people in need all around the world. I like to keep it close to home, but God bless the people that go to these third world countries to help them. It's just it's wonderful. My husband and I are in an organization called the Order of Malta, which is an international organization, and every year we take 50 terminally or seriously ill people to Lourdes, France. We take care of them there for a week. My husband was the medical director for that group, and you see people from all around the world, and realize how blessed we are here. It's very, very hard. There's so much need for so many people, and we can do what we can do. And God bless your friend for helping out, and I'm sure Chile is lucky to have him.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's actually back in California now. He just got a place in Pasadena, which he likes a lot. But he can't wait to go back there or wherever to do those house buildings. Yeah. Do you have any upcoming autograph shows or anything?
No, not any. That usually they'll just call, or more likely, Mousketeer Tommy will call and say, "Hey, I was asked to do an autograph show. You want to do it?" And then they'll call Sharon and Bobby, and we'll get together and go and do it. So I hope I hear from them soon about an upcoming one. I know they always have the Hollywood show, and what we'd really like is to do some of these Comic Cons, and also autograph shows wherever. So if your listeners know of any, I hope we tell the organizers to, hey, why don't you call the Mousketeers?
Yeah.
Not the old Mousketeers, not the original.
Yeah.
The old Mousketeer. Old Mousketeer gives us heart palpitations.
Yeah. About a month after I talked to Sharon, she did MouseCon in Concord, California.
Right.
And I wanted to go meet her and stuff, but I think the weather was really bad that weekend, and plus I had gone to another con like 2 weeks before that. But maybe you'll get booked to that this year.
Yes, I'd love that.
And stuff. Yeah, that would be great.
It seems that lately we've been seeing each other at more funerals than anything. But Mousketeer Karen recently passed away.
Yeah. I heard about that. That was pretty sad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully they'll book you in California, and I'll come and meet you. And I'm going to my first Hollywood show in May. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they got like 10 people from Greece there.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Yeah. Take your camera.
Of course there's no way I'm not going to take pictures.
All right, good.
Sherry, I got to tell you, this has been just an amazing honor. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you, anytime. I'm more than happy to speak with you anytime. You've just been delightful.
Oh, thank you so much. I try to do my best. And
yeah, good.
And I hope you have yourself a great day over there.
Thank you. Same to you, hon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Sherry Alberoni Van Meter. Ain't she a sweetheart? Oh, a great lady. Great show business stories. Very humble. All those Mousketeers, they turned out really, really great from what I can tell. I'll try to get in touch with Cubby next. That would be great. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Why? Because we like you. Later, dudes.